Shemel Shai. Yahweh Shemel Shai. Barakatah Yahweh Shai. Barakatah Yahweh. Barakatah Yahweh. Barakatah Yahweh Shai.
Shah La War.
Surely the isles shall wait for me, and the ships of Tarshish first, to bring thy sons from far, their silver and their gold with them, unto the name of the Lord thy God, and to the Holy One of Israel, because he hath glorified thee. And the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls, and their kings shall minister unto thee. For in my wrath I smote thee, but in my favor have I had mercy on thee. Therefore thy gates shall be open continually. They shall not be shut day nor night, that men may bring unto thee the forces of the Gentiles, and that their kings may be brought. For the nation and kingdom that will not serve thee shall perish, yea, those nations shall be utterly wasted. The glory of Lebanon shall come unto thee, the fir tree, the pine tree, and the box together, to beautify the place of my sanctuary. And I will make the place of my feet glorious. The sons also of them that afflicted thee shall come bending unto thee, and all they that despised thee shall bow themselves down at the soles of thy feet, and they shall call thee the city of the Lord, the Zion of the Holy One of Israel. Whereas thou hast been forsaken and hated, so that no man went through thee, I will make thee an eternal excellency, a joy of many generations. Thou shalt also suck the milk of the Gentiles, and shalt suck the breast of kings. And thou shalt know that I, the Lord, am thy Savior and thy Redeemer, the mighty one of Jacob. For brass I will bring gold, and for iron I will bring silver, and for wood brass, and for stones iron. I will also make thy officers peace, and thine exactors righteousness. Violence shall no more be heard in thy land, wasting nor destruction within thy borders. But thou shalt call thy walls salvation, and thy gates praise. The sun shall be no more thy light by day, neither for brightness shall the moon give light unto thee. But the Lord shall be unto thee an everlasting light, and thy God thy glory.
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Rakakadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples towards younger brothers, and peace and blessings and salutation to the hopeful lake out there pushing his word and truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful lake, the believers, the listeners who may have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. All right, and what I want to get into tonight, is dealing with our people, will be on the front line of persecution of the ministry, man. When this devil, really, pushes his propaganda, against the prophets, when he really demonizes, the truth in his media, the name of Yahushua, the doctrine, the camps, when this devil, goes full throttle with his propaganda agenda, okay, expect, Jake to come out the woodworks and be on the front line. Expect Jake to, be making videos and AI and memes and making mockery. Okay, asking us, where's your God now? His brothers, some brothers, are getting, carried off and, on trial. And Jake gonna be on the front line. Niggas and the nigga woman are gonna be on the front line for sure. Okay, and they're gonna make mockery and they're gonna get their rocks off. When Esau, begins to persecute the church. And that's something that we can't marvel at. Because we was told these things from the beginning. Yahweh Shah put us on game. The scriptures put us on game. Okay, when you go into the records of dealing with Jake, you know, Jake was always hostile against the prophets, man. You look how they did Jeremiah. Okay, look how they did Yahweh Shah. Look how they did the apostles, man. Okay, it was niggas that was going all out their way, you know, to have Yahweh Shah, the apostles, okay, put to death according to Roman law. Okay, so the same thing in this time. Them niggas is back. All right, Rome is back, reloaded. Okay, and this is us going to our final phase of being perfected. We got to, this is part of our cup. This ain't nothing strange. Don't expect it to be fair. Okay, we gotta look at it as us completing our last stage of refining. Okay, now when you go to Isaiah 30:8, it says, "Now go write it before them in a table and note it in the book, that it may be for the time to come forever and ever." So we have a record of Jake, man. And we're gonna go through, a few things just to go into Jake's record, okay, and their mindset towards the prophets, man. Okay, so we have accounts and records of Jake and their reaction. The majority, all right, because there's always remnant, that will humble down, under the doctrine of the apostle. There was always remnant, okay. They will humble down through the prophets, man. Okay, so there's always a remnant that's separated, okay, whom the Lord will have mercy on. But there was a majority, okay, that will always rebel against the prophets, and that majority is back, man. Okay, and the remnant is back, and the Lord is making the separation between the two. It says that this is a rebellious people, lying children, children that will not hear the law of the Lord, Yahweh Bashim Al Shai, will say to the seers, see not, and to the prophets, prophesy not unto us right things, speaking to us smooth things, prophesy deceits. Okay, and Jake, would rather hear, a world friendly, okay, doctrine, a world friendly, all right, type leader. Someone that's promising them, prosperity in this world. Someone that's promising them prosperity, but they don't have to change. Okay, someone that's friendly with the other nations. You see, that's the type of message that Jake wants. You see, Jake just want a leader that's going to tell them they're going to get a better shake in captivity. Okay, Jake don't want to hear about the destruction of America, the destruction of this whole beast system. Okay, Yahweh Shah coming to establish the throne of David in the earth. Jake don't want to hear that, man. Jake want to hear these smooth things in the right now. The nigger woman is God. Okay, that's the type of doctrine Jake want to hear. You see, mixing a priest and a crip. Okay, that's what Jake want to hear. You see, a doctrine that includes all nations. See, these are the things that Jake is into. Jake want to continue on in Christmas and the Easter egg. And, you see, the traditions of Rome. You see, Jake want to continue in a Greco-Roman culture with hopes of some type of prosperity, man. Okay, smooth things. And we come with the exact opposite message because the Lord has an exact opposite agenda of what niggas want. What the Lord getting ready to do and what niggas want is completely different. Okay, so Jake is going to look at us as the progenitor of every problem they got. Okay, and Esau is going to frame it. We know he's the master manipulator. Okay, to where he's going to twist it to where, we're the problem of the earth. Okay, and niggas are not gonna. It's not gonna take much convincing with niggas, man. All right, Jake and Eve, man. It says, "Get you out of the way, turn aside out of the path, caused the Holy One of Israel to cease from before us, man. And Jake want us out the way, man, permanently, man. Okay? Jake look at us as in the way of them flourishing in America. You know, they look at the prophets as a step backwards. Okay? Because it's not an Edomite friendly doctrine. Because Jake only see prosperity. Uh, Jake only see prosperity when they're pleasing to Esau. Okay, when Esau's in a good mood, they want to keep Esau in a good mood because that their chance of prosperity. So this doctrine ruffle the feathers of the powers that be. It makes Esau uncomfortable. These other nations, okay, make our people uncomfortable in their wickedness, man. Okay, so Jake wants the prophets to cease to get out of the way permanently, man. Okay, Jake gonna want blood in these times. You see, Jake gonna emerge at the woodworks, and Jake gonna want blood. Okay, when they see these devils making a move and pushing their propaganda, all right, Jake gonna want blood, man. Okay, so when you well, man, from read verse 12 said, "Wherefore thus said the Holy One of Israel, because you despise His word and trust in oppression and perverseness and stay thereon." So Jake despised the word. Jake hate the word. You know, Jake hate the doctrine. Jake hate righteousness, man. Jake hate accountability. You see, Jake hate Yahweh by Shemal Shai. You know, because this doctrine is an embodiment of our power in His Son. Okay, and we're the messengers, man. You see, so that hatred that they're gonna, exhibit towards us is really towards Yahweh by Shemal Shai, man. Okay, because Jake rather this setup than what the Lord has promised. Okay, and that's why we're not here for all black people. Okay, we're here for the hopeful elect that have, truly submitted and repented under Yahweh Shai, humble themselves under Yahweh Shai. That's all we're here for, man. Okay, the rest of these niggas are just cannon fodder, man. So they're gonna have, their moment, it's gonna be like, damn. See, these niggas gonna have a moment of mockery, and you know, they're gonna be helping this nigga. They're gonna be online just saying any goddamn thing like they do now, but it's gonna be on another level. Okay, and in the flesh, it's gonna be irksome, but in the spirit, we know, hey, it's just a part of it, and this is us being refined. We got to go through this, going through this betrayal of our people and keeping our calm, as Yahweh Shai did, the author, okay, that pioneer. How did he handle the betrayal? How did he handle the false accusations, man? He said he said not a word. Okay, so we have to have this same stance. Okay, it said, therefore, this iniquity shall be to you as a breach ready to fall, swelling out in a high wall, whose breaking coming suddenly at an instant. So while these niggas are mocking and, I say, Jake gonna get off, Jake gonna go all out. Okay, not knowing, okay, that Jacob trouble is on the way. Okay, World War III is on the way, famine is on the way, and the nukes and the chariots is on the way. Okay, so we have to be in the spirit. Hey, let these niggas have a moment when they come. You know, because Jake gonna have a moment. Jake gonna be out there on the front line, man. But things gonna get bad for Jake real quick. Okay, and Jake is just as we're being refined by going through this process. Jake is condemning himself to the wrath that the Lord has appointed for him, man. Okay, because we know how it ends on all sides. Okay, for Edomites, for niggas. You see the heathens. See, we know how it ends on all sides, man, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Al Shah, man, the Rakakwadash, the Holy Spirit. Okay, let's go here to Matthew 23. It's Matthew 23, and this is Matthew 23 and 29. It said, woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, because you build the tombs of the prophets and garnish the sepulchres of the righteous. You know, So you had the scribes and Pharisees. Here it is. They will clean the tombs of the prophets, but they were doing it for a righteous appearance. And see, our people, they love to appear righteous. They love that appearance of appearing righteous, but not being really right. Okay, inwardly, man. It says, and if you say if we had been in the days of our fathers, we would have not been partakers with them in the blood of the prophets. Wherefore you be witnesses unto yourselves that you are the children of them which killed the prophets, man. That generation is back. Okay, it says, fill ye up then the measures of your fathers. Well, he's telling them, look, do what your fathers do. Do what your fathers did. Okay? And he was telling them, look, you them same niggas coming back, man. You know? Because Jake loved to try to maintain, this righteous posture, when they make these accusations. Okay? But at the end of the day, all right, Jake is against righteousness, man. Okay? Because the true prophets always come with the righteous, all right, with a warning, with the correction, with the expectations of the Heavenly Father in righteousness, man. Okay? But Jake didn't want to hear that. Jake wanted to do their own thing. In their mind, that we silence the prophets, we can continue on. Okay? So it says, fill you up then the measure of your fathers, ye serpents, you generation. It's a generation of vipers. And this is speaking to the leadership. Okay? But you have the leadership that's wicked. Okay? And then you have, the common Jake. Those niggas that chose Barabbas, man, there was common Jake in the crowd saying, free Barabbas, man. Okay, it says, how can you escape the damnation of hell? Wherefore, behold, I send unto you prophets and wise men and scribes. Some of you ye shall kill and crucify, and some of them shall you scourge in your synagogues and persecute them from city to city, man. So Yahweh Shah will let these niggas know, man, this is y'all lot. All right, to be antagonists against the prophets, man. So what we're seeing is Jake is just in their lot. Okay? This is what Jake is just in their lot, man. As the prophet killers. Okay, and they don't have the power, to kill, but they have the they have these platforms to where they can accuse, they can make accusations, okay, according to the law of this society, that will be worthy of death. Okay, just like during the time of Yahushua, they couldn't, the Sanhedrin, they didn't have the authority for capital punishment. They couldn't put Yahushua to death without Roman authority. Okay, just like Jake, they need, all right, the new Roman authority, America, to get involved, man. Okay, and that's why Jake make these accusations that they make. The pedo, the grape. See, those are crimes punishable in Esau's court system. Okay, believing on Yahushua not punishable. You see, but they try to reframe the doctrine, okay, to accusations that are offenses in Esau's courtroom. You see, and it's going to intensify, man. Okay. This is Matthew 23 and 37. It says, O Jerusalem, Jerusalem, thou that killest the prophets and stonest them which are sent unto thee, how often would I have gathered thy children together, even as a hen gathered her chickens under her wings, and ye would not? Okay, so here it is, the Lord has sent the prophets out to gather Israel, okay, under this protection, because this is a call to protection, man. Because the Lord is finna go. Because first and foremost, we need to be protected from Yahweh Bashim Al Shai, because He's the one that's going to send forth judgment. Okay, so the Lord sent the prophets out as a call to protection, man. To get up under the banner of Yahweh Bashim Al Shai and be protected in the times to come. Okay, to be gathered by this word. Okay, until we're physically gathered. Okay, by Yahushua. Okay, under the wings of the chariot, man. So this is a call to deliverance. This is a call to protection. It's a call to, the world to come, the rulership of Israel that's to come. This is a gathering of it through the prophets, man. But Jake would rather have forever America, man. Jake want America forever. You see, and they look at the prophets, as in the way. Okay, go here real quick. Let's get Zephaniah. Then I want to play this clip from the beloved elder brother Manata Zakba. Okay, dealing with these talking points and accusations. Okay, Jake. Now this is the book of Zephaniah, chapter 2, verse 1. It says, "Gather yourselves together, yeah, gather together, O nation not desired." Okay, so here it is. Our people is a nation not desired in the earth. Okay, and our people are getting ready to defend the system that hates them. Okay, our people are getting ready to be on the front line to defend the system that hates them. Okay, this is the reality of the situation we in. It said, "Before the decree bring forth, before the days pass the chaff, before the fierce anger of the Lord come upon you, before the day of the Lord's anger come upon you." So the prophets have been sent out with a message of gathering, before the anger of the Lord breaks loose in the earth. Okay, and a lot of people, they're going to miss that train. They're going to miss that invitation. They're not going to they're not going to see any value in that invitation of being invited, okay, into Yahweh Bashim Al Shah, to this wedding, okay, the reuniting of the Most High and His people, that marriage, that joining together again. Okay, Jake don't see the value in that invitation. Okay, and they're going to be on the outside when judgment goes forth, when their decree of wrath is issued from the Most High. Okay, Jake is going to be on the outside looking in. Okay, it says, "Seek you the Lord, all ye meek of the earth, which have wrought his judgment. Seek righteousness, seek meekness. It may be that you may be hid in the day of the Lord's anger," man. Okay, so the Lord sent the prophets to warn Jake of the judgment because the Lord is angry. You see, the Lord's anger is kindled against this earth, man, against this society. Okay, and there's going to come a time when He's going to unleash that anger on the scale the earth has never seen. Okay, and He allows a grace period for the prophets to go and teach and gather, all right, His elect, man, through His word. And how Shah is going to physically gather us in that chariot. Okay, but you're going to have the majority of our people. Okay, they're going to be an enemy to this message, an enemy to this word, an enemy to the gathering, man. They're going to fight for a system that hates them. Okay, this is the, like I say, this, you think about it, it's like, damn, but that's what it is. You see, so let's go here. All right, this is a video done by the brother, I say, the beloved brother Elder Manata Zakba. All right, GMS, South Carolina 08. Subscribe and be edified. It said, "Let's demonize the Hebrew Israelites." Okay, and this is an uptick. This thing is trending more and more about Jake. Just wanting to come out and go on these rants. Now we know, that there are bugged out Israelite camps that, they bugged out. Okay, they off. Okay, and they be on all type of weirdo type. And then you're gonna have that. Okay, and we know Esau gonna lump us all together. And Jake, they gonna lump us all together. These niggas that have these stories and testimonials, they gonna lump us all together as just these bugged out coats. Okay, knowing like brothers at GMS, man, come on, man, we some of the best people you can be around. Okay, and brothers have great reputations, amongst their little worldly networks places we frequent, brother have, great reputations, man. Okay. Everybody, uncle and auntie love the brothers. Like, man, what that brother, I know my people, they be asking about the brothers, what's such and such, where, tell which call come through, man. So, which at the end of the day is just gonna be slander. The slander gotta come. They're gonna lump us all together, they're gonna make it seem like we all this is bugged out cult that's on this madness, and a lot of this is gonna be false accusations, and a lot of Jake gonna exaggerate about the things that they went through. A lot of Jake gonna be compromised and set up to just give this false testimony. So it's gonna be a lot, but we know he is. Okay. You see, that at the end of the day, to simplify everything, okay, because it's gonna be tacky, like everything else Esau is doing. Okay, but we just got to know that he is. Okay, so let's play this.
YouTube channel, and I want to interview ladies that have left the Hebrew Israelite movement and have just returned to a relationship with Christ. So if that's you, direct message me and let me know that you would like to share your testimony. Maybe we can call or set up some type of conversation, and then we can kind of move forward from there. But I want to interview someone because this movement is really picking up, and I think there's a lot of women that are kind of getting dragged into this. And so, yeah, thanks.
Yeah, man. And see, you gonna have the nigga woman, okay? Because there's no one that hates Israelite male authority more than Esau and the nigga woman. Okay, so because she had a bad ordeal with Jake, that's an Israelite, which it's neither here or there whether she was off, he was off, or whatever. Okay, there are bugged out Israelite men, and Eve know how to pick them. Okay, Eve has a superior, choice when it comes to choosing men. Okay, she has a hell of a track record, but at the end of the day, okay, you in this situation didn't work out with this man. So now the whole organization, everybody that's a Hebrew Israelites, everybody that's a Hebrew Israelite needs to be called out. Now it's just a big cult, and every man is just this villain. Every man that's an Israelite just this villain, and they just dragging women into this. You women are choosing to be into this. Okay, no one is adopting you. Okay, you women are choosing to be into this. Okay, and a lot of women not built for this, man. Okay, they see somebody cute on the internet, they see he get a little attention, and you know, and Eve be trying to, uh, find herself, Eve be trying to, because another thing too, because Eve is trying to rebrand herself. A lot of these women, they just trying to rebrand themselves because they through. Niggas done had their way with them. They done went from this circle to this circle to this and that. They done tried this, and Hebrew Israelites is where they fall to, you know, and try to rebrand themselves, and like they just great spiritual, and you be bullshit and full of shit, you know. And also you got bugged out Jake that be doing too much, but at the same time, just because you and this man didn't work out, or you had a certain experience, so now anyone that's a Hebrew Israelite now, that's a problem. And see, what she's saying is she's starting a movement. Okay, I think brother Elder Manasseh Zakbar said she had like a 25-part series or some shit, man. Bugged out, man. Go move on with your life, man. But Eve is a goddamn loser. Eve is a goddamn loser, man. Okay? But here it is, because you and this guy didn't work out. Now, anybody that's a Hebrew Israelite is this villain and this threat to women. Okay? But when you break up with a Crip, you don't try to bring down the whole Crip organization. When they break up with the blood, they don't try to bring down the whole blood organization. They go get another blood. They go get another crip. Okay? But when it's, with the Hebrew Israelites, then it's a cultic organization. Something has to be done. They have to be stopped. They dragging women into, like, y'all old as hell. All right, making your own goddamn decisions, man. And nobody dragging you into a goddamn thing, man. Okay? So you just listen to what she's saying. Look, the movement is picking up. All right. And you don't think that when they start persecuting the church, this little clique of women, these little women that's clicking up that used to be Israelites, they gonna be on the front line. There's a particular hatred Eve got, okay, for Jake, man, especially Jake that know that they Israelites, man. Okay, because this is a patriarch. Okay, Eve hate the patriarch, man. Okay, Eve will much prefer what Esau got set up. Most women would prefer what Esau got set up. That's why this ain't for most women. There's gonna be a few women that the Lord gonna have mercy on, but this ain't for most women. And brothers, be mindful of these women that you let in your circle, man. Be extremely mindful of these women you let in your circle, man. A lot of these women full of shit, you know. So let's play this some more. Just know Eve gonna be on that front line, man. Matter of fact, let's get a couple precepts before we go back. Eve gonna be on that front line. Okay. Let's go. Let's go here. Just get this in the book of Micah. Okay. Because the two top enemies of Israelite men. Okay. And the Edomite man. Okay, and the nigga woman. Okay. That tag team, you see, has been. Let me go here. Um, get this in Micah. Yeah, that's their wicked tag team that's against righteousness, man. Okay, so you have to understand what you're dealing with. Be mindful, brothers. Be mindful, man, because Micah 7:10 it says, "Then she that is my enemy shall see it, and shame shall cover her who said unto me, where's the Lord thy power?" Okay, because there's gonna be a lot of mockery that go forth, man, when brothers, start getting persecuted, and Esau really start pushing this propaganda, and we become, public enemy number one. Okay, it's gonna be a lot of mockery, man. Women that know that they're Israelites, that okay, that fell out or had, a situation with brothers, and okay, they're gonna be easily turned. Women gonna be easily turned, man. Okay, and when it seems like this devil got the ups, man, women, like, there's gonna be women that's already ready to be on the front line. It's gonna be women that's gonna turn. Okay, don't put a lot of expectation in the woman, man. Speaking to you brothers, man, do not put no expectation in a woman, man. Okay, a woman is extremely fickle according to the situation, man. Okay, so don't have your chips, okay, on the woman. And we pray, that our families make it, and it's gonna be families that's gonna make it. It's gonna be whole families delivered. Okay, but we gotta deal with the flip side as well, man. It's gonna be betrayal. It's gonna be those that flip, and the woman is easy to flip. Okay, no matter how much she thinks she got it, the woman is easy to flip. Okay, it says, "Then she that is my enemy shall see it, and shame shall cover her, will say unto me, where is the Lord thy power? My eyes shall behold her. Now shall she be trodden down as a mire in the streets, man." Okay, because it's gonna be worse for when judgment. It's gonna be worse for the nigga woman. Okay, it's gonna be worse for the nigga woman, man. The nigga woman has done a lot of wickedness, man. Okay, the nigga woman has been in cahoots with the devil. Okay, tough in this captivity, man. You know, she became his most efficient weapon. Okay, of destroying the nation. You see, she done it with pride, no remorse. You see, so when these, these bitter women, okay, these ex-Hebrew women, okay, they forming these cliques, man. Hey, they're gonna be on the front line when it comes to their persecution. But then the Lord gonna be on the front line when it comes to their wrath. They ass also gonna be on the front line when it comes to the judgment, man. Okay, let's go here real quick. Let's get this. Let's go here to the book of Sirach. It's the book of Sirach 25 and 13. It says, "Give me any plague, but the plague of the heart, and any wickedness, but the wickedness of a woman." Okay, and the way that the woman can hate Jake is on a whole nother level, man. The way that Eve can hate Jake is on a whole nother level. It's a bitterness, and it's a malice that's on another level, man. Okay, so imagine these different cliques of these bitter women. Okay, still mad at things that were said, women being addressed, this is a society where addressing a woman is blasphemy in Western society, especially in nigga culture. Holding a woman accountable is blasphemy. Okay, so all this correction that went forth, which correction is in love. All correction is in love, man. You see, but Esau has told the woman, that you know, liberation is love, liberty is love. Okay, this unlimited liberty, that's love. Okay, which is completely backwards. It says, but any affliction, it says, add any affliction, but the affliction from them that hate me, and any revenge, but the revenge of the enemy, man. Okay, so you got Esau and Eve, man. That's the enemy. That's the op. Okay, they're in complete opposition. Okay, of a righteous kingdom ruled by Israelite men, which the woman is going to benefit. The woman is going to be in the best position ever in her existence, under a righteous rulership of Israelite men. Okay, but most women have been programmed and enchanted so much, okay, that all they know is to fight against that. Fight against any Israelite male structure. That's all they know. Okay? And it's not even saying case by case, well, she was done wrong, well, I was really done. Well, look, man. Okay, your little one situation don't affect, all right, your little one situation, okay, ain't no big deal. Really don't even matter. Okay? It's about everybody winning. You see, the elect will be nation minded, man. Okay? That's the thing too. The nigga woman think that everything supposed to revolve around their ass, man. Okay? Like the ministry supposed to stop for every emotion they got. The whole ministry supposed to stop and figure this shit out. Nah, man. We moving on, man. It's the Lord, all right, hey, from the steamroll, okay? You goddamn women, man. That ain't right. Okay? It says there is no head above the head of a serpent, and there is no wrath above the wrath of the enemy. Okay? So when you understand that, let me go here. I think that might be it. Yeah, I think that's it. Okay? But yeah, just going back to the point, he said there is no head above the head of the serpent, and there is no wrath above the wrath of the enemy, man. Okay, and Esau, he's finna go all out and try to stop. Because Esau don't want us to be perfect. he don't want the sons of God to be perfected, man. Okay. And Eve, she hate Jake coming into their power. Eve hated Jake to have confidence. Even the Jake in the world. The nigga woman hate to see Jake with any type of confidence, man. You know. So with the serpent and Eve, they're going to be on the front line because this is their agreement in the garden. They want to keep their agreement, their Gardenian pact going. Okay. So the perfecting of the Israelite man, okay, is disastrous to the serpent and Eve, man. Okay, but they can't stop it. You see? But the nigga woman is gonna be there. She gonna go all out, man. Okay. She gonna put on, she gonna act, she gonna put on these accusations, she gonna play victim. Okay. And, they clicking up together, so they rehearsing playing victim and all. You best believe. So brothers, do not be surprised. You know? Let's play this.
And bitch, when I was in 7th grade, my parents joined a motherfucking cult, and we all stopped doing holidays and all that shit because they're in a fucking cult. They joined the Black Hebrew Israelite cult, and bitch, oh my god, this shit is insane. They literally read the Bible and follow, but they only do the Old Testament stuff. They completely ignore the New Testament. They hate white people. They think white people are of the devil and of like Esau. Bitch, out of nowhere, we stopped doing holidays and shit. Like, where the fuck is the Christmas tree out, bro? And already going through it and having to develop this crazy ass emotional intelligence to even survive being in this damn house, I completely understood everything once they pretty much told me. Like, I pretty much didn't have a voice or a reason to even like express discomfort and wanting to things to go back to normal because I just had emotional capacity and the mental capacity to understand what the fuck was going on with them. And my sisters, they had no problem joining too. Bitch, I was so alone. Like, oh my god, it was so fucking much. My mom and my granny got into it because we were literally joining a fucking cult. Her grandparents just stopped celebrating holidays and shit. Like, what the fuck, bro? Racist, homophobic, all this shit. What the literally got a whole new set of Jewish holidays. They literally hate real life Jewish people after stealing their identity. There's already homophobic, but now they got scripture to back it up. And my dad done asked me before, like, am I gay? In the most craziest fucking way, angry as fuck. But like, why would you ask me that? You clearly are not a safe space for me to tell you what the fuck. So while you're in this fucking crazy cult mindset that you are not free from at all, you have no freedom at all, why would I tell you the truth on my? But yeah, and I had joined it too at one point in time. My older brother had joined it too at one point in time. They all mean as fuck. A lot of them beat on their wives. We used to go to this park and they used to read the same scriptures over and over and over and over and over. Like the rest of the Bible didn't exist. Like the New Testament just wasn't fucking there. Oh yeah, bitch. Because now I got y'all to talk to about this shit. Like, I really went through it as a fucking kid. All these fucking changes over and over and over. They used to change Jesus' name every 3 business days. First, it was Jesus. Then it was, like, Yeshua. Then it was Yeshaya. And then it was all this. Like, it was honestly too much for my soul. And we basically isolated from the rest of the entire fucking family. Literally, kid you not. Hate is a strong word, but I seriously hate them. Like, y'all took away my parents. The fuck? Y'all took away my childhood. The fuck? Oh, my God. Holy shit. This shit is crazy.
And you got this, and his father shouldn't even have to ask, was he a Mo? All right. First 3 words, what this guy's on. But but you see the words that they're choosing. They white. They're saying white because they're signaling to the so-called white man. Okay, they hate white people. Okay, they're doing that. They throwing signals out. Okay, they're signaling to Esau, look, they hate white people. You see? The cult, they use these words of cult, they hate white people. And, right on cue, you can pretty much, already know what they finna say. They beat on their wives. That's the running, rapists. Look, as the scriptures say, we're gonna be looked at the scum of the earth. But by default, we beat on the wives and great, the pedo thing, you know, he locked in the basement, whatever, it's all this bullshit, man. Okay? But these are going to be the accusations because they need something to stick in Esau's court. That's why, even though, we speak about all nations not being able to be saved. Okay, why is so much emphasis on the white man? Because he's in power. Okay, they want this power structure to make a move on the prophets. That's what they signaling, a power structure to make a move. Okay, let's play some more.
So when I was a teenager, I went to a boys and girls home.
And what the hell is going on, man? Because I was listening to this because I was out working in the yard, so I'm listening to this video in the headphone. I'm not seeing it, but when I was listening to it, I thought for sure this was the nigga woman. I thought for sure this was a nigga woman, man. But this nigga here, he's all over the place. All right, but I just want to pay attention to things that's being said that can be accusations.
Because I was bad as fuck. So in this boys and girls home, we couldn't have a phone. So I would call my mom and check up on her on the house phone. So my mom had this childhood friend, and for the sake of this video, I'm gonna call her my aunt. So my aunt up and disappeared one day. We hadn't seen her or talked to her in years. Well, one day, she called my mom, and my mom called me, and she put it on three-way. So she tells us what happened to her, and basically, she found a new religion and became engulfed into it. What was the religion? The Hebrew Israelites. So what are the Hebrew Israelites? The Hebrew Israelites is a black extremist group who thinks that they are the original Jews. I was 15, bitch, okay? Give me some grace. So she's telling me all these beautiful things about the religion and how I should join. So me being easily influenced, I'm like, well, how do I join? So they don't celebrate traditional holidays like Easter, Christmas. They think that those are pagan holidays. So she tells me, we have our own holiday coming up called the Feast of Tabernacles. So you should come out and come join us and see what we're about. So this thing is supposed to be like a retreat. But when I get there, it's a fucking house in the middle of the forest with a goddamn lake on some Friday the 13th type of shit. So they kind of believe a lot of the things that Islam believes, but it's like very extreme. Like we couldn't use toothpaste anymore because they thought.
And they love to try ties to Islam because Islam is already, looked at as extremist. So he's always trying to make that connection as well. Okay, there's gonna be a lot of people with these exaggerated stories. Okay, and there are bugged out Israelite camps. Okay, but then this guy down, you you know, everybody's so goddamn smart, but they always get in these crazy ass situations. But everybody is this goddamn genius. But they love to try to link Islam as well. So prepare for that link, Islam. Okay, prepare to be looked at as a jihadist, extremist. Okay, they gonna put that in the mix. Whatever they gonna throw a lot of charges and hope something stick. They're gonna make a lot of accusations, hoping that some stick, man.
That there was pork in the toothpaste. So we had to use coconut oil. Breath just hot as fuck. So they're teaching us things about the religion. Like they believe that God is the actual sun in the sky. The moon is Jesus. The sun rises in the east. So we had to pray to the east in the morning. It sets in the west. We had to pray to the west at night. Shit like that. Now they start getting in depth about.
And the whole thing is to make the doctrine sound as crazy as possible. Now there are Israelites with bugged out, doctrines. Okay, but I never heard that one. God damn. You see, but with people like this, okay, their whole thing is to make the doctrine sound as crazy as hell, to the masses. And see, their mind is every Israelite believe this. Okay, here it is. Christianity has all these denominations. Okay, you have atheists and all. You got Satanism. Satanism is trending in America. Okay, but the doctrine that's the problem is the Hebrew Israelites. That has to be addressed by the highest courts. You see?
the shit they really believe, this is where it takes a turn. So they believe that black people are God's chosen people, and the white people are the enemy, basically. America is Babylon. So when God comes back for the rapture, God is going to take out Babylon, basically, and they're going to be the ones to kick it off. So they're teaching us how to shoot guns and how to use knives because they're preparing to go to war with white people. Mind
There
you,
you
my
go.
mama.
Okay, there you go. You see? And these are the things that Esau can use for their accusation. Okay? And you notice that they make sure they emphasize on white people. All right? Because that's the power structure. It's the Edomite power structure. Okay? So look, they plan on going against the power structure. They gonna jump it off. Okay? And which we don't teach that. Okay? Never have. Anything like that, being militant against the government. Okay? But they just need something to stick with one. If they can get something to stick with one group, they can get it to stick with all. Okay? But it's gonna be an outcry from Jake, from the nigga and the nigga woman. Okay, they're gonna help with the testimony that Esau is gonna bring against, the ministry, man. They're gonna be assistant. These niggas gonna be on the front line assisting Esau, man. So let's play this a little more.
Tell her everything about this cult because she didn't know the extent of what they were talking about. So whenever I told her everything, she was like, what the hell? Bring your ass home. And I came right back home. So after I was exiled from the fucking cult, my aunt left shortly after because they were trying to make her youngest daughters procreate with grown men. So she was like, fuck no. But she told us the crazy shit they were doing. They were planning an attack on white people. I don't know what the fuck they was gonna do, but they was planning to attack white people and then flee to Egypt after the attack. Crazy ass shit.
There you go, man. And that's the main two things I want to emphasize on because this is what Jake is getting ready to do. Okay? It's gonna be hundreds of niggas like this, man, with this testimony. Okay? That the Hebrew Israelites, they're all planning this big attack on white people. Okay, don't be surprised, man. The scriptures tell us not to be ignorant in the matter of small or great, man. Be circumspect. So we just peeping the play. Okay, just peeping the play, man. And the Lord been having the brother Elder Manata Zakba, okay, go into that, for the last year maybe. Okay, of Jake and their reaction to the ministry, man. Okay, and it was needed for us to see, okay, these niggas finna be on the front line with. Okay, so when you go into the chat, I asked, did the accusers of Yahweh Shah and Apostle Paul attempt to turn doctrinal differences into crimes worthy of death under Roman law? The betrayal aspect they both dealt with from their own people. Short answer, yes. In both cases, opponents tried to reframe religious doctrinal disputes as political or legal crimes that Rome would punish by death, and both faced betrayal or opposition from within their own people, though their details differ. Okay, so Jake, it's not, see, the doctrine. Okay, not celebrating Christmas is not punishable under Esau's law by death. Okay, but when you go into grape and pedo and treason and okay, you know, anti-government, militias. See, when you go into that now, Jake want blood, and Jake is calling out for Esau. Jake got to get Esau involved, okay, because Jake want blood. You see, so Jake is reframing the doctrine. All right, Jake is going to reframe the doctrine to fit offenses according to Esau's court. To make things try to stick according to Esau's court, man. And not saying that there aren't bugged out Israelite camps. Okay? But they want to blanket all the camps. Anything that has to do with Hebrew Israelites, they want to, do away with it all. Okay, it says Yahweh Shai doctrine reframed as treason. It said what the dispute actually was among the leaders of the Jews. The core issues were theological: his authority to forgive sin, his interpretation of the Torah and the Sabbath, his claim, all right, to be Messiah, the Son of Man, his critique of the temple leadership. And them niggas was terrible. Them niggas was trash, man. Them niggas was corrupt as hell that was in leadership. Okay? It says under Israelite law, blasphemy could be a capital offense. But after 6 CE, Judea did not have authority to carry out executions without without Roman approval. John 18:31 reflects this reality. How it was turned into a Roman crime. When Yahushua is brought before Pontius Pilate, the charges changed. We found this man perverting the nation, forbidding tribute to Caesar, which was a lie, and saying that he himself is a Messiah king. That's key. It says Messiah reframed as a rival king. Okay. Kingdom of the Most High reframed as political rebellion. Spiritual authority reframed as sedition. Rome didn't execute people for theology. It did execute people for insurrection and treason. Okay. And you see, they got a plan to attack white people. They had me shooting guns, getting ready to attack white people. Okay. They got these old men procreating with these underage. You see, and I say you do got bugged out, Jake. You know, Jake got these compounds and these certain little homesteads, and you know, and we also know on the other side that these people are going to exaggerate, man. Okay, because they want brothers out of there, man. They want all the camps gone. You see, so they're crying out to Rome. Okay, it said crucifixion itself wasn't a Roman punish. Well, it said crucifixion itself was a Roman punishment for rebels. All right, not an Israelite one. It said betrayal from his own people. It said Judas, one of the 12, hands him over. Okay, so people close to us, man. People close to us can flip. Temple authorities collaborate with Rome. All right, Jake finna collaborate with Esau, man. Okay, Jake finna collaborate. It's gonna be easy to get Jake to come with these false accusations and these testimonials, man. Okay, it's gonna be easy for Jake. Jake gonna start the trend. Okay, you're gonna get all these compilation videos. Okay, they're gonna really push. The machine gonna be behind it. Okay, it's gonna be 60-minute specials, all this shit, man. Okay, it said crowds that once followed him are turned or silenced. Okay, crowds that once followed him are turned or silenced, man. Okay, and it's gonna be certain, people that follow, they gonna flip. When this persecution get hot, it's certain people that was following, they gonna flip. They gonna fall back. We got to respect all these things, man. Nothing should be a surprise to us, man, coming into these times. Okay, Apostle Paul said theology reframed as public disorder. Theology reframed as public disorder. It says Paul's situation is different in form but similar in strategy. When the dispute actually was Paul's conflict was mostly his teaching that Gentiles, Israelite foreigners, need not to keep full Torah, not to be justified by the law. He claims that Yahushua is the risen Messiah. His challenge to temple-centered authority, okay, the new priesthood under Yahushua. This was intra-Israelite theological disputes, how it was turned into a Roman legal trouble against the accusations. It says, again, the accusations are refrained. It says, Acts 17 and 6 through 7, it says, these men are acting against the decree of Caesar, saying there's another king, Yahushua. So they're reframing doctrinal differences, okay, and they'll reframe it as these accusations against the Roman government, against Caesar, okay, or today, white people. You see, it says that that's almost the same charge used against Yahushua. Acts 24:5, a pestilent fellow and agitator among the Jews throughout the world, keep pattern in sect, okay, or what they're saying is a cult, okay. So they're saying, look, it's a cult, it's a dangerous movement. They're teaching, disturbing public order. It says Messiah is a political rival. It said Roman officials repeatedly note that no actual crimes exist, but Paul remains in prison due to political pressure, man. It's not going to be fair. Okay? It's not going to be fair. You see? It says betrayed in opposition from his own people. It says Israelite leaders repeatedly plot against him, and they just wanted blood with Apostle Paul, man. You know, they were like, look, we just going to ambush him. On his way to the court, we're going to ambush him. But, you know, the Lord had, you know, those those Roman guards, okay, protecting Paul, okay, because Paul still had work to do. You see? It said former peers now see him as a traitor. He described being rejected by, it says he describes being rejected by his own nation. Paul himself frames this as tragic irony, zeal without understanding. Okay? So, you know, we're going to go through that, man, the betrayal of our own people, you know, to see, because here it is, the message is to Jake, you know, and to see Jake buck up like this, it's gonna be like, damn. But we told these things so we don't marvel, so we don't bug out when we see it. You know, we're told these things over and over again. Okay, and the Lord is perfecting our hatred for the 2/3, man. Okay, so for this moment, man, there's animosity, there's enmity. You see, but we had to go into this time with the mindset of Yahweh Shai was standing on there's Second Peter and First Peter. Let's see. First Peter 2. Yeah, this is on First Peter 2:21. It said, "For even here too were you called, because Hamashiach also suffered for us, leaving us an example that ye shall follow his steps, who did no sin, neither was guile found in his mouth or deception." And amongst the you know, the first fruits, it said there was no guile found in their mouth, because no one can say that we deceived them, that we tricked them. Okay, that we came with deception. No, we came with 100% pure truth. Okay, it says who when he was reviled not again. When he suffered, he threatened not, but committed himself to him that judges righteously, man. You know, so we just gotta commit ourselves to him that judges righteously, which is the Heavenly Father, man, through his son Yahweh Shai. Because the last say so is through Yahweh Bashim Al Shai, man, not the courts of Esau, okay, and not, you know, the accusations, okay, that's going to be put upon us, okay, by our own people, okay. Read this in the Second Peter 2:22, and NLT says he did not retaliate when he was insulted, nor threaten revenge when he suffered. You know, so hey, in that situation, man, we gotta have that same frame Yahweh Shai had. Okay, we're not here to prove nothing. Okay, the scriptures say that he's going to give us an utterance, a tongue to speak, nothing more, nothing less, and that's going to be all the testimony we need. Okay, but when these things, even before some brothers are snatched up, okay, it's gonna be it's gonna be an uptick on insults and okay, but we're not here to just be caught up in retaliating and threatening revenge and all these different things, man. It comes to a point to where, hey, everybody finna see the Lord finna show everybody. He finna show you who was right, and the Lord finna show who was wrong. Okay, it said he left his case in the hands of the Most High, who always judges fairly. Because we know we're gonna get a fair shake with Yahweh Bashim Al Shah. Okay, you're not gonna get a fair shake amongst these people, man. Okay, that's why it got to a point where Yahweh Shah just was silent. All right, look, y'all got it. Okay, whatever y'all say, y'all got it. And let the Lord intervene how he gonna intervene. You see? Whether it's putting the spirit on us to take the honorable death or raising up a standard. But either way, okay, the elect win. Okay? The elect will be on those chairs watching America become the lake of fire. Immortal. Okay, feasting with the kings, man. You see? Nothing can separate that. Nothing can take that victory from us, man. Okay, so that's the point. Just wanted to get into that. Lord will, you brothers. All right, and you sisters edified once again. I want to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Bahashim, Kakadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples towards younger brothers. And peace and blessings, salutations to the hopeful, Shalom.